What we also did was reflect very, very carefully on an existential question. A question that might sound totally obvious, but one that I know I would not get identical answers to had I posed it to each of you here individually tonight. I asked us to go back to absolute basics and reflect on why this college needs to exist. Why does this community need a Yavneh? To answer that question, we looked at history in an attempt to learn from it. The very origin of Jewish education lies in the Torah's commandment that parents personally teach their children. There was nothing in Hammurabi's code legislating education, but Jews say it in the Shema twice daily, V'limadetem et b'neichem, and you shall teach your children. Now, the Gemara in Bava Batra that I've translated here for you actually records a period in the 1st century CE when that father-son system broke down and Jewish tradition was at risk of being entirely lost. Fathers were failing in their obligation to teach their children, so the inbuilt system of transmission was malfunctioning. Yehoshua ben Gamla, the then high priest, is ascribed with a success, albeit on the 3rd attempt, at introducing a formalized network of schools in every province for students aged 6, 7 and above. This, my friends, is the history of the radical Jewish innovation of the modern-day school system. And it's here, this unique period in Jewish history, that this college draws inspiration from. Because if there was a crisis in education in the 1st century CE, then the Pew Report and the Gen 08 statistics that I just showed you demonstrate that we are facing a not dissimilar crisis today. And I'd like to posit that the answer to that crisis remains unchanged 2,000 years on. The answer lies in authentic, rich in content Jewish education. So why does Yavneh exist? We exist to offer all children of this community a 21st century education that underpins Jewish continuity. We exist to ensure that Yavneh produces generations of graduates, all of whom view Judaism as a central element in their lives, all of whom are themselves deeply committed to perpetuating the Masorah, and all of whom feel deeply concerned at the prospect of assimilation. But our version of 21st century continuity is very different to some. Our version of Jewish continuity is predicated upon an embrace of modernity and a harnessing of all that is good within it. It means a belief that general and Jewish studies don't somehow compromise each other, they actually reinforce each other. Our view of a 21st century Jewish education is not one that acknowledges that women can achieve success in every field of endeavour, but that when it comes to Jewish learning, the curriculum should for some reason be watered down because girls are intellectual inferiors, God forbid. Our Jewish studies curriculum options for girls are identical to that of the boys. Show me another Melbourne Orthodox school with a serious Jewish studies program that shares that version of gender equality. Our view of a 21st century Jewish education also places the state of Israel at the epicenter. And in light of the events of the last few months, I couldn't be prouder of that fact. And when I talk about the epicenter, I'm not talking about treating the state of Israel quaintly with pitta and falafel balls and a token assembly on Yom Ha'atzmaut. I'm talking about teaching it to our children in conjunction with the phenomenon of Aliyah as the partial realization of 2+ millennia old predictions of our prophets. Come to our college on Yom Ha'atzmaut, experience the electric environment that permeates the school. Attend our classes whilst we teach our kids that religious Zionism is a philosophy that, like Jewish education, serves as a central answer to the ongoing crisis in continuity. Our view of a 21st century education is one that deeply exposes our children to the beauty of living authentic Judaism, not a Purim carnival or model Seder version of Jewish education, but an Orthodox Judaism that is rich in content, intellectually demanding, and loyal to the halachic system that has preserved it since Jews became a nation. Our vision for a 21st century education is one that bombards our children from the moment they enter our ELC gates until they graduate, that derech eretz, menschlichkeit, is a non-negotiable aspect of what it means to be a Jew. So we developed a vision statement for the college. And that vision statement depicts an idealized state of what we're trying to achieve to fulfill our purpose. It's on the screen for your perusal. We then followed through with a mission statement to specifically highlight what we want for our children. So what is this college aspiring for in its graduate product? Well, we want integrity and compassion to serve as the cornerstones of everything our kids aspire to be. We want to help them develop unique relationships with God, relationships that are founded on absolute competence in Jewish literacy. As I said earlier, Our kids are too sophisticated to buy a dumbed-down or diluted version of Jewish studies. If they can't open a core Jewish text with comfort and with interest, then we can't possibly expect their relationship with Judaism to meaningfully endure. Anything less than excellence in Jewish studies and experience is a recipe for identity ambivalence. Parents are not sacrificing almost $500,000 per child in after-tax income for identity ambivalence. They and their children deserve far more than that. We want our children to strive for absolute excellence in the general studies curriculum, not just because it's an enabler for their professional aspirations, but because a first-class secular education refines the mind and enhances the human personality. We want our kids to deeply believe in themselves and to define success as realizing their own individual potential. We want our boys and girls to be as excited at the brilliance of the logic of Gemara or physics as their teachers are. We want them to marvel at the incredible sensitivity that our people radically innovated to humanity and to commit themselves in turn as torchbearers of decency. We want kids who believe in Rav Kook's vision that a united nation of Israel, irrespective of observance levels, is a priority and a possibility. We want them to understand the role they have to play in crystallizing that dream of tolerance and unity. We want kids who appreciate the historic importance of the State of Israel and who understand the enormous sacrifice that the IDF makes on its behalf is not merely for the citizens of the State of Israel, but that sacrifice is actually for Jews everywhere. We want them to know that while sadly too many rabbis in Melbourne and elsewhere view army service as an unfortunate distraction from Torah studies, this college views army service as the realization of Torah studies and the quintessential expression of Ahavat Yisrael, love of a fellow Jew. We want students who feel blessed to live in an Australia that offers them incredible freedoms that they are duty-bound to reciprocate through giving back to their birth nation. We want an awful lot from our students, but with a supportive and an aligned homely environment, we can deliver on this.